crazy.
Are we on? I think we're on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Almost
Yes.
human live. And Wayne, holy crap, Wayne. No, it's Manny. Man, my eyesight's getting bad. Hey, it's Dr. Fuck, and I'm joined by the humanoids this week. We got the regulars Tony Dio, the regulars Count Ralphus, and the now and then people, Richard and Manny. How you guys doing?
Good. How you
Good,
doing,
man.
Al?
Good, man.
I'm an irregular.
Glad you can make it, Manny. I understood you were tired.
I am. I work in a financial industry, as you know, in the Amazon thing. Anyway, so it was a long day.
Oh shit! You work for Amazon?
No, I work for a bank that processes their payments. So.
Okay, because man, those Amazon workers, I just look at them working, and I'm thinking, they must have a real stressful job because Amazon, you got to have it that day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I do because I'm an Amazon Prime member, man.
You're a prime mover.
Yeah. And well, anyway, this week we want to talk about the Plasmatics. Oh, and something I forgot to mention. If any of you are available next Wednesday to do an Almost Human Live, and it's got to be Kiss based, and people in the chat, what do you want us to talk about Kiss based next? Let's see who says the most. On Wednesday, if anybody can join me on Wednesday, because next Thursday I'm going to go see Category 7.
Oh, they're doing live shows? Okay, cool.
Well, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I didn't know they were doing lives.
I don't know if they are, but they're playing one show down here, one show. And I'm like, fuck, I gotta go to that, man. Sean Bush. I'm not a fan of that record. I bought the album. I'm gonna listen.
It didn't do much for me at all.
I'm
I'd
gonna
rather listen to Armored Saint.
Yeah, I'm gonna listen to it more this week to see if it can grab me. But hey, they did play a show in California like months ago, and they played Light Up the Sky, Van Halen, so that was cool. So hopefully they'll do shit like that, That would be cool. So if anybody can join me next Wednesday, and I'm gonna let the viewers, you watching right now, leave it in the comments what Kiss related thing we should talk about next week. Now, also, and it can't be a Kiss related thing we've done on Almost Human Live in the past. Like we've talked about, what was the last thing we talked about? Rock and Roll Over, right, Tony?
I think so, yeah.
So we can't talk about, shit. So, all right, so let's get this started. Plasmatics. Richard, you're our special guest. Tell us how you got into Plasmatics, how you found out about them, and so on.
Well, I had a friend of mine that ended up being a guitar player in a band of mine. I grew up with the kids since before we could play, and he always worked really hard and had a lot more money than I did as a preteen or a teen, and he would just buy records based on the cover, like whatever it was, and in England, and he would order stuff, and so I was over at his house, and he had this record, and not this copy, but this and the version, and I was just so taken by their driving a Cadillac in a swimming pool, and then he played me the music, and I mean, I don't know. The first song I ever remember hearing was, I mean, obviously it was the first song, Tight Black Pants, but I don't remember. I think it was Butcher Baby. That's the song I remember hearing first. And I was like, that's so crazy. And then, of course, later I saw Wendy O on Night Flight and interviews, and I started paying attention to her name in magazines, and of course, Plasmatics. I was already had a record by the time they opened the Creatures of the Night tour, and I was reading about that, and I love Creatures of the Night album, and I was like, but it obviously the tour was canceled, but anyway, so yeah, that's what got me into it was them driving a car into a swimming pool, and then she was so fascinating to a young me. I never heard of like anybody that phrased things like she did and or looked like they did. Of course, saw the Tom Snyder, the Fridays, all the great TV shows the Plasmatics did. I mean, everyone was like different. Everyone was intense, and I don't know. She always just struck me as somebody you wouldn't want to mess with. And of course, later, by the time I could go see shows, I was going to see the Wendy O Williams tour and the Maggots tour, and I saw the Maggots tour at a Metroplex here the day that Guns N' Roses opened for Motley Crue, and so when I saw the Plasmatics Maggot tour, Slash was there. So in the picture I have with Slash, he's wearing a Maggot shirt, and I was telling Dio about it. He was just watching the Plasmatics. He did have the top hat on or whatever, but I went to the Motley show the next day, but so I saw the later Plasmatics without Stotts a couple of times in that club. The rap album Wendy did, Ultrafly, saw the Maggots, but I saw Wendy a couple of times with her solo band. That was really good, but really it was just an album cover and then the interviews where she just talked. She just had all kind of subjects from censorship to being a vegan to I mean, it just wasn't anybody intense like that. Like even men, much less women, sawing up shit with chainsaws and all that. It's like it's pretty intense. So yeah, but yeah, that's how I found out about it.
I gotta say something there. Really quick. I had no idea she ever did shows for that rap album.
Yeah.
Did she actually do like the rap song? She was actually doing rap.
Yeah.
And then she mixed it with regular Wendy O Williams and
well, it was called
stuff too.
It was called Ultrafly and the Hometown Girls, and she had two female rappers, two girls. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know who they were, but it was two girls.
They were the Ultrafly. They were the Ultrafly girls.
Yeah, and West Beach, the guitarist of Plasmatics, the other guitarist of Plasmatics, he was still there, but and no TC Tolliver, no Richie Stotts, no Junior Romanelli. It was just her, and I can't even tell you. I as much as I love the Ramones, as much as I love Plasmatics, I did not like Dee Dee's rap album, and I did not like Wendy O. Williams' rap album.
Yeah, that's crazy though. I've never heard that they actually did shows for that. I thought it was such a flop that like it would just disappear because it was the last thing she really ever did too. So that's really unfortunately video of it or anything like that about her doing the rap stuff live.
It's the only Wendy O. Williams release I don't have, but you know what? I had it at one time. I don't know what happened to it. I wish I still had it. I don't care how bad it is. I'm a completist, And I
got it right here on cassette. That's the only way I have it is on cassette.
I had it on vinyl. I did have it on vinyl. But I have everything else, which I'll show off in a bit.
I didn't know that existed till just now. I had no idea. No idea.
It was horrible. I thought it was horrible.
That's it.
So it's not under her name. It's under Ultrafly.
No, it's called Deafest and the Baddest, Wendy O. Williams, and the Ultrafly and the Hometown Girls. Ultrafly and the Hometown Girls. It was the last thing she did. It was after the Maggots album. It was after the Maggots. So the Maggots
is disappointing because the Maggots is brutal. I love the Maggots.
Yeah, it's heavy as hell.
I love that album, but I didn't know she did a rap album. Jesus. Oh, yeah. I'm kind of glad I didn't.
Well, anyway,
that was it. She called it a day. That was it.
Yeah, that was the last thing she ever did.
She didn't do anything for like 10 years. So,
how did you discover the Plasmatics, Manny?
No, that's two ways. One was there used to be a show called Night Flight, which I think Richard mentioned, and they used to show weird music videos and interviews and B films. If you guys remember that show, and
yeah.
they had a clip of them playing live. I don't remember what the song is, but they blew up a car, a TV, or something. I don't remember what the video was. I didn't like it because of her voice. Like, I never heard a woman sing like that. You know, I was used to, your Pat Benetars and Wilson. I don't think I never heard a woman sing like that back then. I didn't hear of Holy Moses or anything. Not that I'm comparing him to that, but anything like that. But I knew her more of a personality than I did as a musician. And the other thing was Cream magazine used to have an offshoot called Cream Metal. And in 1983 they did the best albums of the 1980s, which is kind of silly. And I remember it was Motley Crue, Too Fast for Love, Venom, Black Metal, and Plasmatics. With the album you just held up that I own too, and I can't remember the title. And those are the three albums.
Beyond the Bet or No Hope for the Wretched. I don't know what year you're talking about.
1980. Which album came out in 1980 or 81?
That would have been New Hope for the Wretched.
Okay, well, that was the album. So I went to the store, but I bought the wrong album. I bought, I didn't buy that one. I bought the one that they're on the car. And at first I didn't like it, but I kept listening to it. But I found her more interesting as a personality. Later on, I appreciated the music of the Plasmatics, but I'm not going to say it was love at first listen. If you want the truth, I found her sexy and scary. Like I wanted to fuck her, but I didn't want her to beat me up.
Hey, here's the Cream magazine pushed the shit out of them, and it's like, here's the Cream Dream photo. Wendy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember. I used to have. I probably still do. I have a lot of old magazines. I got to go through. I might have that one still. But,
yeah, I can't find the ones I was looking for, and then I found shit that I wasn't looking for. So, yeah.
Here's the magazine. Look at this magazine. Wendy on the cover of High Society.
Froze up, Count. There it goes.
All right,
there you go. We see it now.
What?
Yeah.
High Society, Wendy O.
Nice.
Killer.
Cover. I have her on a vegan diet magazine cover, but I couldn't find the magazine.
Wow.
Like a vegan magazine that had cover.
That was a little ahead of its time. I don't recall hearing a lot of musicians or non-musicians that were vegans, honestly, back then. I mean, now you hear it all the time, but I didn't really hear about it back then. I think she was the first.
She was a health fanatic. She was a big
Yeah.
health fanatic. All about working out and eating right.
She was a very intelligent woman. I mean, sometimes she came across coarse or whatever, but that's the one thing I remember about the interviews, because I had an image of her based on pictures, not based on not anything, from magazines. And then you hear her speak, and she's very articulate, very smart. I also had a feeling that this was a woman that lived many lives during her, 48 years. I mean, she was younger than that at the time. I even saw her shitty movie Reform Schoolgirls, which is shitty, but it's so bad I like it.
Fucking movie rules. That movie rules.
I love that movie, and I highly recommend the Blu-ray. Michael W. Howard.
I got it.
I've had the DVD forever, but this Blu-ray shit. Cool action.
Who directed that, Ralph?
Huh?
I got the sound check.
Who directed that, Ralph? Do you have any idea?
What? Say that
Spielberg.
Howard Wexler.
Who the hell is he?
But did you see Candy Goes to
though.
College?
I got it on VHS, and then I got a double version with Fraternity Vacation and Reform Schoolgirls.
Nice.
Did you see Candy Goes to College, though? That was her hit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. She did porn.
Candy goes to Hollywood. She was in that one.
That's it.
Movie.
Okay.
She only did the one. She was a sex worker earlier in life. She was a sex worker.
Is that the one with the ping pong balls?
Yeah. that's like the famous one, but actually she did another one, but nobody talks about. I can't find it anywhere, but I do have it. Well, no, I probably don't have it anymore. I used to have it on a VHS. It was a scene where she had sex with a guy on the beach.
Hmm.
And
It's called Pucker Up and Bark. Is that it?
I don't remember the title. Is
She was
that
in something. She was in something called Pucker Up and Bark. I have that in my
Did
notes.
did she do these movies under Wendy O. Williams' name or?
Wendy?
It was
Wendy?
before she did any music stuff, so she was Wendy Orleans or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was
Probably.
okay.
Yeah, this was before the Plasmatic. Yeah, she worked in sex clubs too.
Yeah, sex clubs. Yeah, she
Yeah,
wasn't a sex worker. She was worked in sex clubs. Yeah.
these are pretty
Yeah.
good too. Documentary and live DVDs of the
I
Plasmatic.
it wasn't that put together
Yeah,
by
I got that
Ramon,
one.
the manager, right? Is
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the same live one as this one, Ralph? The live show from
No,
London?
no,
No.
that's this one. That's the Wendy O. Williams
Yeah,
DVD. Bump and
this
grind.
is Plasmatics Live.
Yeah, that I got
This
the one
this
that
has
Ralph's
got
holding
tons
up,
of extra
and then
footage on it.
Yeah.
yeah, that's this one I got too. Like Tony's got there, and then there's this third one out there too. And when you got all of you get like those clips from Night Flight and the interviews on Tom Schneider's show and all that stuff. If you get all of them, you'll get all that footage.
This one's on that one's on K-Tel. It's on K-Tel DVD. It's got the old K-Tel logo, like the old K-Tel records. That's kind of crazy.
Wow.
Ralph said he had that one on VHS when we did
I
the Plasmatic show.
I did.
Yeah.
I had it on VHS and then I had it transferred on a DVD. And I don't know what happened to the VHS, but at least I got it transferred on DVD. But
Yeah.
as I see, they released it.
Yeah, you can get that right on Amazon.
It's a good show. I want to talk about that album that gets overlooked a lot, Commander of Chaos, in a bit. But all right, hey Ralphus, how'd you discover the Plasmatics?
So yeah, Wendy O pretty much it was kind of more around the time of this album, the first Wendy O album. You got the members of Kiss all contributing, produced by Gene Simmons, they got all the special guests with Eric Carr and Ace Frehley, and so this was like the first thing that I remember getting, but I seen the video for The Damned around the same time. So like I don't know which one I seen first, but I remember this was the first thing I bought. And then I went backwards right away and I fell in love with her right away. I love her voice. It's gruff and there was no one like her. To me, she was like Lemmy's sister, kind of, as far as like she was like the Lemmy version, even though she didn't drink or smoke and or do like she was nothing like Lemmy. And a lot of people, think that they were like a couple at one point, and they played it up. They did that "Stand by Your Man" song together and stuff. But she actually kind of found him like repulsive because he drank all the time, he smoked nonstop, and she was a vegan that worked out every day, ran, jogged all the time, super health nut. And this great book, I think maybe might be the book that Richard was looking for that he didn't find, but this book is really awesome. It tells you so much about like her private life and how she ran away from home as she was a kid, and it's just such an amazing story. And we've talked about it on the last episode we did on Rock Fantasy Files, and we talked about Plasmatics. But she's like should be 1,000 times more famous than she is. If they'd made a movie about her life, a biopic, it would make her albums go gold and platinum and shit. I think people are so influenced by what she did, but if they discover her now and they had a whole movie about all the groundbreaking shit she was doing back then, because there was nobody like her. The more I delved into her as a kid, the more I just fell in love with her, and she's my all-time favorite female performer. I can't even think of anybody that comes close. Like to me, she's number one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I found her, like videos and stuff. But I love Wendy. And out of all the celebrities, a lot of celebrity deaths, especially this summer, losing Ozzy and everything, it makes me think of like how sad I was for certain people over others. And Dio was a really hard one. Lemmy was hard, but you kind of seen those ones coming. Even with Ozzy, that was one of the hardest ones, but you kind of seen it coming. Ace was like kind of a shock, and that's still in my head every day. But like when Wendy did it, she killed herself, and something about that. I had never got to see her live, and I didn't care that she was older. I would have went out of my way to see her no matter where she played and stuff. I would have seen her at 60 years old. I loved her music. I didn't care as much about the gimmick as I got more and more into the albums and songs and stuff. It's kind of like Kiss, where it's like, yeah, it had like a gimmick. She was out there being outrageous and everything, but the fucking songs killed, and the albums are so great. I love everything she did except for that rap album. I love everything she did. But yeah, that's my beginnings and stuff with her.
All right. Tony?
I think I first heard about her in like some of those Cream magazines, kind of like what Manny was mentioning. I just remember seeing the Plasmatics in some magazine. It probably wasn't Circus. I was buying Circus and Hit Parader a lot, but every once in a while I'd pick up like a Cream medal or something like that. And that's the first time I ever heard of them, but I really didn't know what they sounded like. And the first time I ever heard them, I think, was Radio 1990 on the USA Network showed the video for The Damned, for Prisoners of the Damned. So I was like, yeah, that's kind of cool, And then I started reading in magazines that Gene Simmons was producing a solo record for her, and a lot of the Kiss members are going to be playing on it and all. So when that came out, I ended up picking that one up. And still love this album. I think I think this is like the best Kiss album that doesn't say Kiss on it that ever came out, because the songs sound like Kiss songs, and it's some good stuff on it. And I mean it's a more just like hard rocking record for her.
It's Kiss.
Yeah,
It sounds like Kiss.
it does. I mean, it sounds like what Kiss was doing around the Lick It Up period. It's kind of got that sound about it. I think the first thing I ever picked up by the Plasmatics, I can't remember the title. Some of you might have it. Count Ralphus might have it, but it had the album cover here on it, but it was on cassette, and it was like a compilation of songs. I want to say it was called like, I don't know if it was Metal Priestess or what. Have you got it, Count?
Talking about Beyond the Valley of
No, there was
no.
called Metal
No,
Priest. Around.
So they were on Capitol. I think they were on Capitol Records, and it got distributed. It might have been. It was like one of those compilation things that comes out, but they just make up, and they sell them into cheap bin for like $4.99 or something. but it had the Coup d'Etat album cover, but it was called something else, or maybe an outtake from that. I just can't remember. It was years ago.
You're talking about the Coup de Grace DVD.
That's a different mix there.
Yeah,
that's
the different mix.
That's
Different
the Dan
recordings,
Hartman.
actually.
That's the Dan Hartman. No, this was like a cheap cassette. I can't remember what it was. I mean, this is like 30 years ago. I had this or whatever. But yeah, whatever. That's what I had by them or whatever. And I think I ended up trading it or something. And then later on, Razor and Tie started reissuing some of the stuff, all the stuff on CD sometime in the late 90s, early 2000s. I was able to pick up everything. And I was able to get it, which this was on a different list. This is actually on Stiff. But Razor and Tie ended up doing everything from Beyond the Valley. They did Coot. They did the Wendy O Williams Wow record, of course, and they did the Commander of Chaos all on CD. So I was able to get all of them, pick them all up. And I've got that Wendy O Williams Wow record on vinyl too. But yeah, I was into that record, Hey, I wanted while I was taking a stab here. I saw a couple things in the Peanut Gallery here. I thought was pretty interesting. Mark DeLeon says the Mentors played with the Plasmatics at Defender Ballroom in Long Beach. Wendy was not happy about the Mentors and started screaming in El Duce's face before I was in the band. but I was there. So I don't. So I
That's
don't know.
Mark.
Okay,
That's Mark from the Mentors. That's Mark
okay.
Braun. He's
Okay,
the
cool.
singer of the Mentors for the last like.
Cool, Mark. That's funny. I could just imagine her screaming at El Duce, and he's just sitting there, just
Yeah.
knowing
Oh
El
man,
Duce,
that's
and
awesome.
Check this out.
yeah.
Check this out.
What is that?
Oh, wow.
Oh
Oh,
wow,
wow.
cool.
I lived there. I lived there. I lived in California when the show happened,
Oh, the
and I couldn't.
Mentors are on it. Oh shit,
Yeah,
he got the
and
Mentors.
That's
I
the
couldn't
one.
get
Okay,
there.
I bet.
Yeah, holy
I
shit.
couldn't get there. This is the one
Crazy.
you're talking about, and I couldn't get there. But
That's sick.
I did see things out there. Like I saw the Iron Maiden at Long Beach that was filmed, and I saw Alice Cooper Megadeth. I did see shows, but I could not get to this show. But I cut the ad out because I was so devastated. But yeah,
Oh,
You
There
still
you
have
go,
the
Mark.
ad. Wow.
it's awesome.
Richard's got the historian. He's got the
Yeah,
flyer for it. That's pretty
Oh,
freaking cool,
that's
man.
great.
I've
Yeah,
got the
man.
reissue of this because this was reissued in 2015, I guess, from MVD Audio. I don't know who they are, but obviously it's a reissue because the sticker is not a sticker. It's, on there.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
asked Tony. Yeah, go ahead.
Which pressing is that?
That's a reissue from 2015.
Okay. I'd always noticed the first version I ever had of that was on cassette and it was on the Passport label. And I always thought it sounded like crap. But when I got the album sounds pretty good. And this CD sounds really good.
Yeah, I've got the CD, but I don't have it on. I don't know what label that my CD's on. But I asked Tony on the chat, where did Ace Frehley play? And he told me. And I just looked at the album, and the original didn't have this because I had it on cassette. And here it says special guest Ace Frehley. But right up here, they still credit him as Michael Lee, lead guitar. I'm sorry, no, where is it? Was that it? Yeah. Michael Lee, lead guitar, on some songs. So
yeah.
Michael Ray.
Michael Ray.
yeah.
Hey,
Michael Ray.
Bump and Grind is Ace Frehley was a special
Yeah.
guest on Bump and
Yeah,
Grind.
well, I had to ask Tony on that, and I didn't realize that the reissue actually credited him. I don't remember the original crediting Ace Frehley, though. Did it?
Oh yeah, it's right. Yeah, this is an original. It's credited right there, and it's right underneath. It says
Okay.
Paul Stanley on Ready to Rock, Eric Carr drums on Legends Never Die, Mitch Weiss piano, and yeah, that's backing. Yeah.
So and Mickey Free, isn't that the guy from King Cobra?
No, that's Marcy Free. Mickey Free Mickey Free he was in that band with Jean Beauvoir. I remember later on.
Wait, but was he in King Cobra
Crown
too?
of Thorns, maybe? Crown of Thorns.
Tony, when did you get that Wendy O CD?
The Wow CD.
Did they re-release it?
Yeah, this was re-released.
This is this one actually. This one isn't the Razor and Tie version. Actually, the Razor and Tie CDs are actually is Coup de Gras and actually the other ones are on Plasmatic Media. Okay, that's what they are.
Yeah,
I bought them. I bought these at Best Buy.
I bought this in the mid '80s, and it was rare back then.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you something, Ralph. I had a different version of that on CD ones. Is there a picture of her inside, like spread eagle?
Let me see.
Because there was a bootleg version that went around I had for a while, and it sounded terrible.
No, this is all
Okay.
that's on it.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Mine has the little thing about Kiss in the front, like Tony's does, where it says right on the cover with
Yeah, and
special
this
guest
on
Ace Frehley appearances.
Plasmatics Media. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's in Reginald Van Helsing.
Mr. Simmons.
Mine has the same thing.
People call it the Lost Kiss album.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
The only
I had a friend that worked at the theater, and he let us sneak in and see Reform School Girls. I wasn't quite old enough. I was only like 17, so it had to be 18 to see R-rated movie, I guess, in here. And yeah, we went and saw it one night. It's pretty crazy. It was cool to get that on DVD after all those years, because I mean, I don't even remember seeing it in a rental store
I
back in
used
the
to.
day on VHS.
I
I'll
saw
tell
it
you
on
that Blu-ray
HBO.
that Blu-ray my friend sent me, that Reform School Girls, the picture quality is amazing. It's real, and it's got really killer extras. I don't know if it's still out there. He got me that.
What are the extras, like interviews and stuff?
Yeah, interviews, and no interviews with Wendy, but they talk about Wendy, and yeah, a lot of cool stuff. And
The original VHS cover. They
Richard,
definitely
tell the
played up
story about
Wendy O.
me when you met Sybil, what she told you.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I was trying to locate before I've been gone a week, and I was trying to locate. I have reform school girls lobby cards from some country, and I took them to a
Awesome.
con and got Sybil Danning to sign them,
That's
and
awesome.
she she asked me if I ever had met Wendy and everything, and I said, yeah. Unfortunately, the one time that I talked to her, I made her angry, and she yelled at me, and so I met her. This is me right here, heavy
Oh man,
fucking
that's
May,
awesome.
Well, that's
That's
awesome.
and that's
fucking A.
so.
That's
But
cool.
I met her in Commander of Chaos tour, and I read in some magazine like a review of the record, and it said these pants that she's wearing is impossibly tight. They had to be airbrushed on, or either she jumped off a barn and landed in the pants. And it, it was talking it was talking about how the pants must have been airbrushed. And so when Wendy when I met her right there before that photo was taken, I said, "Yeah, I read in a magazine that those." I was a teenager, man. I was fucking like 17, 16, and I said to her, I said this like Hip Raider said that the pants were airbrushed, and she just goes off on me, man. She looked at me and said, "I don't give a fuck what anybody says, you or anybody else. Nobody tells me what to fucking wear. I'll fucking wear what I want to fucking wear." And she just like yells at me and screams. And I was like, I was so intimidated, and I was like, no, I didn't have time to explain. She's like, dude, but I told Sybil Danning that story. I said, yeah, it's I was a teenager, and the only time that I ever met Wendy, she yelled at me, and which now at 57, it's funny, but as a teenager, it was like, what the fuck? I was scared of her more than most guys, and Sybil Danning says, it's weird. I thought when we were filming Reform School Girls, I was the upstart. Um, no, she's the upstart inmate. I'm the evil warden, and she says, and so I would, speak to Wendy during scenes or different days, and she would never speak to me. She would just look at me like, "Rah." and she's like, oh, I guess she wants to be in character for this movie where she hates me. But then she said 2 years went by, and they worked out at the same gym in L.A. And Sybil Danning said, I walked over and said, "Hey, Wendy, it's been a couple years. How are you?" And she said, "Fuck off. Leave me the fuck alone." And so she said it wasn't that she was in character. I mean, Sybil Danning was like, she just had problems. It's like Wendy had problems. She had anger, and it's sad that I tried. She said I tried to be a friend, but it wasn't. It was never going to happen. And I was like, she said, "So you're not the only one that got yelled at." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So,
Wow, that's
I mean,
crazy.
but when you read about her life, and I didn't read a lot about her life, just the interviews she did at the time. There was no internet. I'm not really surprised, at some of that anger. By the way, this is the album I was supposed to buy, but I bought the one before that back in then. Were they on Stiff Records during this era, or just
yeah,
this album?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
this
no,
is an
they were.
original.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
all
Well,
right.
I got to tell you how I discovered the Plasmatics, and I'll hold up my little collection here. I've known about them. I don't remember vividly, but I think I saw them on that show Fridays, and I think that's the only, and I've seen them in magazines and stuff, but I never really looked into them. And I think, I probably was turned off because I'll explain that later by the Friday because Creature of the Night tour, Plasmatics were opening, got there early. And let me tell you, man, as far as Kiss goes, that really was the greatest Kiss show I ever saw in my life. Creature of the Night tour, they were the hungriest. They wanted fame back badly, But you know what? They weren't better than the Plasmatics. No way I will say the Plasmatics blew Kiss away because nothing could be further than the truth that night. But they were just as good. And I didn't know nothing about them,
Mm.
And I was like, oh my God, after that show, I was on the quest to get Coupe de Top. And I did. I remember it was a Wednesday too. It was in the middle of the week. I had to go kind of far to get it. And I bought this. And to this day, and I've done videos on my channel, my top 10 greatest albums of all time. This is definitely in my top 10.
Mine too. Mine too. Yep.
I covered The Dam. You can see it on YouTube. We played it live a few times. I recorded just like on TV that I never got a copy of, and I want to do that again now. Mistress of Taboo. And just like a little side note thing here about that album, I didn't get this that long ago. It's Coupe de Grace, and this is all different versions of each song. Like Princess of Taboo is kind of different, pretty different. Both rule though. Every song.
But they did the album with Dan Hartman, and I guess the label didn't want them to use that version or whatever. Is that what it was? I mean, Richard and I talked about it not too long ago.
Yeah, it said Theodore Dirks, who just had a hit with the Scorpions. I guess Blackout, but it said Theodore volunteered to work with somebody at Capitol. He worked and the label said, "Yeah, work with Theodore Dirks." So he came in and they redid it. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Country Fairs.
Yep.
She does some screams on Country Fairs that sounds like Seth from Anal Cunt. It sounds just like him. Give it to me, give it to me. That part?
Yeah.
That's total stuff. So the next thing I bought, and I bought this when I went to California in 1984, was Valley of Beyond the. I mean, I was there in 85, and this came out way before 84. But anyway, I bought this, and honestly, I didn't like it. It wasn't like Group to Todd. It wasn't metal. It was more punk. But boy, did I grow to love this album. Pig is a Pig. Sex Junkie, one of my favorite songs she's done. Master Plan, and so on. And of course, like everybody else, I bought this when it was new, the Lost Kiss album. What a great solo from Ace Frehley on Bump and Grind. Total ace. And standout track on this album, if you ask me. All right, what else do I got here? All right, not in order. I got this bootleg here. It's called Classy Bitch. And it's live. And I think some of it is from that London show because it has Jailbait with Lemmy from that show on here. This was a record store day thing called Fuck and Roll, right?
I remember that coming out a few years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had no idea she had a record store day release. Continue, Ralph. Sorry.
Yeah, 3 songs on here, Bump and Grind, Ain't None of Your Business. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Ain't One of Your Business was co-written by Vinnie Vincent. I think
it was.
I'm pretty sure.
It's some Kiss connection to it. Yeah.
Yeah. And underrated, this one.
It says Swenson is the writer on a quick on here. She does it like
that's her partner, and their manager, and the one who started her whole
Rod
career.
Swenson. Yeah.
I think this album is extremely underrated. I even like it more than the Wow album.
It's a
to
good
Me too.
album.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. There's a reissue of that album too, probably by the same company that did the Wow album I have.
It's
But I
She
see
really
does
that on a
jailbait.
local record.
She does jailbait on that one.
yeah.
Well, when you say Kiss, the other ones, the Kiss album, that was like, to me, that's Wendy on singing in the Kiss. This one sounds like Wendy singing in Motorhead.
Yeah,
You know,
there you go. Perfectly
Yeah.
said. And
Yeah,
I tell
perfect.
you, when this was new, I freaked out. Because I went out and bought it. I saw it. I didn't hear a song off it yet. I don't think it had a video, though she was on Joan Rivers during this time, and that I
Yeah.
taped on VHS, and she did fuck that booty, and I forgot some other song. But this album rips.
yeah.
Definitely, I think it's her heaviest album. I love this one, the EP, the Metal
Metal
Priestess.
Priestess.
That's what I was thinking about, Ralph. That
Yeah,
was an EP. I thought it
yeah,
was
it
a
was an
comp
EP.
album.
No,
Okay.
man, Black Leather. This EP is godly. It's really, really amazingly awesome. This may be the last one I bought from the Plasmatic, believe it or not. I believe this is the first one, right? New Hope for the Wretched. That's their first album, right? Pretty sure.
Yeah.
First
Yeah.
full length, yeah.
And
Ralph, hold that cover up again. Look at that. How can you not want to buy that?
oh, right? It looks, yeah, it's so badass, you know.
Yeah.
The back of the cover is awesome too. Like it's more of the pool shot, but
And Ralph, you're right. Ain't None of Your Business was written by Vinnie Vincent with Gene Simmons, Eric Carr too. They all three got writing on that.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know Eric.
So on this DVD, they've got it wrong. They've just got Swinson.
I knew Vinny was involved, and I just pulled out the original record because I just couldn't remember how. But yeah, he's a co-writer on that one.
And then finally, Maggots.
Yeah,
I love this album. But let me
I
tell
do
you,
too, man.
when this album was new, though, I dubbed it on cassette, taking out all the talking. You know, there's a lot of talking on this album. I don't mind it now, but back when I was a kid, I was like, I want to hear music. This is great. It's the final Plasmatics album, and Maggots. It's
Yeah.
the
Why,
back of the album cover is actually Wendy O's back. That was a tattoo that was on her back.
So I remember that album came out as Wendy O. Williams Plasmatics, but didn't it just come out as the Plasmatics? Was it
same reason why Black Sabbath's album, the Seven Star album, it was like we gotta put Plasmatics on there. You know, it was none of the Richie Stotts from the Plasmatics was on he's guitar player for all the Plasmatics album. He's not on this one.
Yeah.
It's pretty much Wendy O. Williams band, but they just throw the Plasmatics on there. So it's kind of, it's a weird situation.
yeah. So it was basically tried to move more albums. So
But
There's an
right.
there's an ad inside here for those Plasmatic reissue CDs, and there's a compilation called "Fuck You and Loving It," the new Wendy O. Williams retrospective CD. Did any of you guys get that?
oh,
I wonder if
but
it
I
ever
need-
came out.
Huh.
I wonder if it ever came out.
Well,
You know,
but-
another thing that I remember back in the older days too, in the early days of discovering Wendy and all, I have actually have it on vinyl now, but there's these cassette. I used to get these cassettes out of the discount bin, like you get them at like Rose's stores and stuff. They were Castle records from the UK.
Oh,
They were
Castle
called Metal.
Communications. Yeah, they had a
and they were
bunch of comps.
they were called Metal Killers
Mm-hmm.
Collection. The first one that I got, I discovered all these new wave of British metal bands by getting that. They had Tank and Tokyo Blade and all that stuff on it. Well, the second volume came out, and I got it. I probably got that around like '87 or something. But it had some different stuff. It had like Thor and stuff like that on it. But it had Wendy O. Williams. I remember I have it on vinyl now. I just thought about this. there's a live version of Bump and Grind on there, and she's trying to get the crowd to sing along, and the crowd's being like, singing, and she's like, "What's wrong with you guys? You're on Quaaludes or something."
Hey, it's a question for Richard. Richard, I guess you saw Wendy O. Williams live. What was the crowd like? Was it packed? Was it well attended? Was it a
Yeah.
headline?
Oh, yeah, it was a club in Atlanta called the Metroplex, which was the punk club in the '80s, and it, but Wendy O. I mean, you can see in this photo that's part of the crowd there. You had me wearing a heavy fucking metal shirt that I had made because I was so angry. But yeah, this guy wearing the Wow shirt that because the year before we'd seen the Wow tour, the Wendy. This guy's wearing a Kiss shirt, Animalized tour, and this guy's wearing a Kiss shirt. So you had a lot of metal, especially as the thrash metal scene. I remember being like Slayer and Kiss and Megadeth. You see all these same people at, at the Metroplex to see Wendy, and yeah, it was always intense crowd, always a good crowd. I do remember the Ultrafly, the rap show being like people. It was the same crowd, but people were just like. I personally think half of those people showed up not knowing that she did a rap album. And it's like,
Yeah.
cause once they started that pre-recorded drum beat, and then Wendy started that music, people were like, "What the fuck? Time to get a beer." But
Well, Richard, I didn't
She
even
was she
know
was
she had
really
a
she was
rap
really
album.
popular.
yeah,
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 she was really popular up until then. Like that, it was just a bad move. Like
bad
that, I
move.
remember the Maggots album. Everybody was loving the Maggots album that I was friends with at the time,
Yeah,
and it was just like that was a big misstep. But she was
big misstep.
definitely like in. You guys were bringing up the magazines. Do you guys remember? I don't know which one it was. I'm thinking of Tip Parader. At one point, there was like a page dedicated to Wendy O for a while. It was around the time of the first album in Commander of Chaos solo albums, but she would sit there and she would be her holding a record, and it was like in every magazine. And I can't remember if she was reviewing all the new releases
Yeah, I
or
think that
if
was
she
Hit
was like,
Parader. You rated
Hit
the new
Parader did
set.
that.
yeah, she was like rated. I forget
Celebrity
what I was
Rate a
like.
Record.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
But she did it like all the time, though. She was like in a lot of them. Like it wasn't just her. Like I know that became a thing where they had different people, but for like a year or so, she was like the person talking about every new release
yeah, I thought
in
I had
just
that.
one page.
I don't
She
know. I don't
I
also
know.
couldn't remember what
I
that
don't.
was from.
I don't know why I vaguely remember this. I
It was
kind of,
always the same picture of her like holding a record. She had the ponytail, so that's why I know it was like the during the solo
wow.
album time.
but
Yeah.
I kind of remember her doing something. I don't know on what magazine that was kind of like a Dear Abby, right in your problem.
Yeah.
Wasn't that Rip
Well, I
magazine?
didn't know if that was
Might have
part
been
of it.
Rip.
I don't know.
Could have been
Wasn't that
Rip
Rip
Somebody in the
magazine.
magazine?
comments, somebody in the comments will know.
They were a little Rip was a little more, hip with what was going on. I do remember her. She used to host Radio 1990.
I see. I have them all.
I remember she interviewed Motley Crue on there
Yeah.
once.
Yeah, I remember
I
that.
have all that. She was on Radio 1990 quite a lot. I made a DVD of a Wendy O compilation of all the TV things that she's done with Joan Rivers, and
Yeah.
I have
A
all.
lot of that adds on some of those DVDs because just like I got 3 different plasmatic DVDs that are, but they don't have everything. Like I I remember that Motley Crue one because like they were like up and rising and stuff, and she was interviewing him. And I think you said in the last time we did the Rock Fantasy thing that, or somebody said that Motley Crue used to play with mannequins of Wendy O. Williams and cut her head off during the show or something like that.
That's
But then
actually
and then they interviewed her, or she interviewed them, and she was being like they were supposed to be the woman, they're out there on the street always going for all the women, all the groupies and everything, and she was like intimidating them, acting like she'd take them all on or something like that.
Mm.
And they were just
Yeah.
they were like all of a sudden they were like little kids, like whoa, like they weren't used to some girl like her. She was too much woman for them.
Wendy. I'm so. I mean, I'm very happy I got to witness her live, but I'm so bummed it was the only time. She never came to South Florida again. One of my
Well, he's
friends,
oh, go ahead, Ralph.
one of my friends told me she played Fort Lauderdale Summers on the Beach, and I was like, well, that must have been very badly promoted because I did not know about that. But the one time, it really was a life changer. There's many shows I've been to that were kind of life changing, but the Plasmatics were a little more special because I didn't know them. I didn't know shit about them, you know? And I was completely blown away with the chainsaw and the guitar. And it's like, wow, this chick is wild. And those screams, you know, I was close enough to see those screams were pretty wild, man.
Oh, they're incredible.
And, you know, she would bend backwards and shit. She was.
Oh yeah.
We
I
used to
agree.
get the thing called East Coast Rocker, like how Richard had cut out the ad. I cut out that out of ad.
Bending
Got, like,
backwards on the cover there. That it's crazy.
Yeah,
I got
dude,
thousands
I
of
used to
ads
find
cut out that but I knew about shows happening and just couldn't get a ride because I was too young at the time. Like I remember Wendy O. Williams headlining the Ritz in New York, and SOD album came out. I had the SOD album. I loved it. It was like my favorite thing at the time. And I knew about them opening up for Wendy O at the Ritz, and I just couldn't get a ride. I was like 15 years old.
I
You know, and it
believe
was like
I believe
couldn't
it
get
was
there.
I believe it was Wendy O, SOD, and the Cro-Max.
Yeah, it was like a legendary show, and I got the ad from an old like East Coast Rocker or Aquarian. We had a couple different things like that that had all the ads for all the clubs in New York and stuff. And I used to just cut them out and try to find a ride, but like nobody my age could get rides unless our parents drove us, you know. But that was a little bit, tiny bit too young to catch them, and it kills me. That's what killed me when she killed herself. It was like I fucking was like when I got to the point where I'll drive anywhere to see her. Like I just wanted to witness her live. I didn't care what she looked like and if she had nipple tape on or whatever. I just wanted to see her live. I didn't care how old she got or whatever. And it never got to happen. And that's what like hurt the most when
well,
she
Ralph,
died. And
she was only 48 years old when she killed herself. She wasn't.
yeah, yeah, it hit me like a ton of. I remember getting so fucking drunk the day I found out, and I just played her music all day, and I'm just like every song. I'm like, why the fuck would you fucking do that? I'm so mad. Like, but you know, people go through like that depression or whatever, and you can't understand it or whatever. But it was just, it always hurt the most. I think of any celebrity death because of her taking her own life out. That just like I can't imagine all the millions of fucking Kurt Cobain fans. Like, although that whole generation had a guy that they worshipped, and he fucking takes himself out like that. That must have been so brutal. Like, I wasn't a big Nirvana fan, so I didn't really think nothing about it at the time. You know, it was weird, but it was like it for Wendy O to do it. That was like my Kurt
Well,
Cobain, I guess. That's what I'm saying.
any suicide bothers me because I've
Yeah.
had friends.
Yeah.
And,
When I met
you know,
when I met Gene Simmons in 1995, I said to him, whatever happened to Wendy O. Williams? And he didn't say a word. He looked at me and he went like this, like, I don't know, like sexual or something, like, what did that mean? You banged her? I'm just asking what happened to her, you know?
Yeah.
well,
But she was in hiding at that time. I mean, how
yeah,
long did,
10 years, right, guys? Was it 10 years,
Yeah.
Richard?
Oh,
So,
It's all in this book. If you guys look for this book,
what
you
book
can
is
find
it?
this on Amazon. This book is called
1990,
The Wildlife of
1998 she died.
yeah. I have an
Eve
obituary
of
from her.
Destruction, The Wildlife of Wendy Williams is the name of the book. You can find this on Amazon pretty cheap.
Okay,
Been
well,
out
then,
for a while.
I gotta get
before
And it's really awesome.
before I
It's
drop
really,
off,
really good. I mean,
no,
like
I
the
was
main thing I
curious.
remember reading that book, it's just like even her whole life in Connecticut, the last years and everything. Like it, you know, Rod Swinson guy who got her started and got her a band, put a band around her, and made her like this star and everything. He was with her the whole time up to the end,
Yeah,
and that was one of the big revelations when I read the book. Is I always thought her and Lemmy, and I just figured she messed around all over the place because she had like this sex worker jobs and stuff like that or whatever she was doing in her past. So I always kind of thought of her like kind of like a slut, you know. And She wasn't at all. Like she was a health nut. She was smart as hell, and she just had a rough bringing. But she found this guy that really like directed her in a great career. And I think she had a lot of. I mean, she got in movies and TV shows. She was on MacGyver and shit. She was in the New Adventures of Beans Baxter. Like she was
Yeah,
getting movie roles and TV
yeah,
roles and stuff. Like
she was
she
doing,
wasn't stupid, you know.
no, and I
Yeah.
see it's funny you saw because I would see that sexual image, which would turn me on, and at the same time, if I had met her in real life, probably intimidate the hell out of me. But I would see her in interviews, and even though she was wearing, tight jeans and just a bra, it was so contradictory to what my image of her was, if that makes sense,
Well, she was like
I mean,
somebody that loved to push the envelope. That was her thing. She was so against status quo and so against humanity, period. The whole world,
what
like she just wanted to break free and do whatever, like what people wouldn't do. Look, a good example, Playboy magazine offered her, I don't know how much money to pose naked. And she said, the only way I'll pose naked for you guys if I do it on the wing of a plane before I jump off the plane.
Yeah.
That's the
Wow.
only way she would pose naked. If you want me
Yeah.
to pose naked, you gotta fucking take me on a plane. I get on the wing naked, take your pictures while I'm on the wing on the plane naked, and then I'll jump off. Not knowing where the fuck she's gonna land. She completely.
Yeah.
I mean, she was.
Yeah, she didn't say parachute included.
Yeah,
She was the
yeah.
evil Knievel of punk rock and metal,
Yeah.
you know.
She
Yeah.
was. She was more
You,
man. She was way more man than me. I'll tell you that.
you
And
know, you
hey,
guys talking about seeing her live. I never got a chance to see her, and I actually found out that I guess it was the Maggots tour, not Maggots, but the Commander Chaos tour. She actually played in North Carolina. She played in Greenville, North Carolina. I had some. I was talking to a friend one night, just in a band. He goes, "Yeah, we opened for Wendy O Williams," and I'm like,
Oh,
"When?"
man.
And he's like, "Yeah, she played that. She played at the Attic," and I'm like, "Wow, that's crazy." I didn't know anything about it, you know. I mean, because that was before I started going there, like maybe a year or so, 7 or 8 months before I started. Actually, was 18, could get in, so the clubs. But yeah, I hated it. I was like, man, that would have been cool to see,
that would have been very cool.
And
Uh,
because I'm because
Yeah, check out the
she had a good band. And Greg Smith was her bass player. He's went on to play with Nugent and
oh
and
yeah.
yeah.
all
Yeah.
kinds of bands over the years. Yeah.
So my question for Richard or anyone actually is two. Number one, anyone know why she stopped touring? Was it just mental illness? Because she did try stabbing herself one time before she actually succeeded in killing herself.
no,
So
Yeah, she got the knife stuck in her chest in a bone
yeah,
plate, and
which is
it got stuck, and then she
crazy.
had to go to the hospital and get
It's
taken
the
out.
craziest story I've ever heard, by the way. But anyone know why she just dropped out? Was it just mental?
Well, the last thing she ever did was she wasn't she had depression from probably her whole childhood growing up and stuff, but she had a lot of success with the music. But now she's getting to a point where she's getting older, and you know how it is with especially back in the 80s and stuff, sex was like everything, sex sells or whatever. It was like you were a dinosaur once you hit 30 or something
Yeah.
back then. It's like makes this rap album. It doesn't really it kind of betrays like her whole career at that point to me anyway. But like she's getting older, and I think she just like drops off the map, and she gets into a life of being secluded in Connecticut, living with the guy Rod Swenson who started her career, and her manager all those years, wrote songs for the Plasmatics and everything. So it's all in that book. The book is really, really important to pick
Well,
that up. But here's a cool shirt that I just wanted to point out really quick because you can't see it in the background where I have it hanging up, but it's got it's got it sucks because it's red, you can't really see and shit. But it's one of my oldest plasmatic shirts. But on the top it says, "Are you a woman or a wimp? Are you a man or a mouse? Are you paranoid vegetable, or do you have the guts to join the Plasmatics Secret Service?" And then she says, "Don't be stupid." And it's her, like my bobblehead. It's like her with the raised hand, from like the Metal Priestess album. But on the bottom it says, "Fight authority. Are you sick of people telling you what to do? Do boring radio stations, um, and mealy mouthed DJs make you say sparf." It's hard to read this. It's so small.
That that all fit on a shirt.
Yeah, it's like a whole
It's
paragraph
tiny.
on the bottom. There's like a paragraph on the bottom here. It says, "Do phony, incompetent rock critics who like to play it safe make you want to go out and do things violent? Take a stand, or have you become intimidated into submission?" That's what it says on this shirt. So it's hanging up behind me, but I knew no one would see any of that stuff. It's like a whole paragraph at the bottom.
Yeah,
Knowing that's the first time I think I ever read it.
that's a fan club flyer. That's all that's on. It's a fan club flyer from I think it's from the first album, but yeah, it says all that on there.
Yeah.
Spend your $10. Yeah.
Well,
Hey,
gentlemen,
you guys,
I'm out. I want to thank all of you for having me on. Thank you, Ralph.
Before you go, Manny, I got
Yeah.
a question. Have you guys watched the Hulu documentary, the Into the Void series about Wendy O and the Plasmatics?
There's
I haven't seen it yet.
episode on it.
Yeah, Hulu has a series running now called Into the Void, and it's about a lot of like controversial rock stories, and they do a whole episode on Wendy O and the Plasmatics.
Is it well done, or is it one of them?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I got to tell you, I think it's better than the official documentary they released. It's very well done. The only bummer is they don't mention reform school girls.
No, not at all.
You guys are something else that you guys love that movie because, but you know what? Love you all anyway. Hey, Richard, always interesting to have you on. So I'm glad you came on. So thank you. And thank you, Ralph, for having me on as always. And
good to see you, man.
Thank you guys.
All right. Now, good one. Go ahead, kids.
So
I have enough of them, Ralph.
Yeah. So a lot of people don't realize that Neil Smith of the Alice Cooper Group played drums on Beyond the Valley.
I didn't know that. I did not.
So I got 2 Plasmatics pieces. I got a bunch of scattered autographs and crazy shit, but this is one of my prized possessions. It's signed by Richie, West Beach, Neil Smith right here, and Wendy O. Williams. I had it signed by her at the bottom. So, but I ended up, I put off mailing it to Neil Smith of Alice Cooper for 10 years because I didn't want to lose one of the only few Richie Stott or Wendy O. Williams autographs that I had. And, but yeah, he signed it. And then I got the Wow album. I had her sign. She wrote it to Richard, obviously, but and I got T.C. Tolliver and Michael Ray, but I guess I should have got Ace Frehley on it, but I did not. But yeah, but yeah, I did end up befriending Richie when I was going to New York, and ended up buying some stuff from him, like this photo is a photo of him at the Limelight Club in '84, trying to get it for him and Ozzy.
That's awesome. Nice.
And yeah, and then this was another photo he had of Wendy and him. And but I don't know how many you were aware of after Plasmatics broke up. His band got a lot of press, but it never materialized. It was all over the press. He had a band called King Flux, and their pictures were in magazines and all this stuff. And King Flux, the new punk heavy metal supergroup from Richie Stott's, but it never materialized. And so I eventually
who else was in that?
I can't. Yeah. Hold on. Let's see. John Bavor. Well, he's in the original photo. I don't think he's, but it's John Bavor, Tony Petrie, who was in Twisted Sister, um, Tommy Lafferty. Um, but anyway, so it never came out. He never got the record deal fell through. So eventually, Richie sold burned copies of the King Flux, and on it, I guess he's still maybe selling them, but I ended up grabbing that from him, and after 30 years, finally heard King Flux. But yeah, so yeah, I love those guys, man, and all these years later, I still think Coup d'etat's definitely. I told Dio this last week. All these bands like DRI, Corrosion of Conformity, all these bands get a lot of credit for crossover, punk metal crossover, but the Plasmatics were doing it 5 years before any of those bands.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Coup d'etat's heavier than any of those bands. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it's weird how there's like the punk albums, and then like when you get to like Metal Priestess, it's like metal, but it's still Plasmatics, and
right,
it's all over there. There's metal crossover throughout it all.
yeah. And Coup d'etat, I mean,
I remember
tell
him.
you,
I remember him playing at Stotts in New York area. I would see flyers for Stotts
yeah, he
back in the
played the Joey
day,
Ramone
and
birthday bash and
yeah,
stuff.
he would play that stuff. Yeah, I
I'd
got
be
to
in New
meet
York,
him.
but it was so hard to hook up with the guy, and because I'd be on a tour and then he wouldn't respond to my email, or I'd be, you know, 2 days later he'd respond, and he lived in the Village till I don't know, I think he moved now. Um, Another thing I
I
got,
had a friend of mine just met him like a couple of weeks ago at right in Brooklyn. So he's still like in the
wow,
city
okay,
area. He was just at a show. He was at a Castle Rat show. And
cool.
my friend seen him because he's like 6'5". You can't miss Richie Stotts walking through the crowd, you know.
Of course,
No,
he was at Castle Rat. I mean, hell, they're highly influenced by Wendy.
yeah. Now, I don't know, Ralph, if you have the book "Heart in Your Mouth," the documentary bio of the Plasmatics. They sold it at concert. I bought it at the Wendy O Williams show or the Maggot show. It's called "Heart in Your Mouth," and
I don't
anyway,
have that, but my friend the last time pulled that out. We did an episode of our Fancy Files, and he pulled it out. I think that was the book. It
that's
was
what
an
I was
old
hunting.
plasmatic. I've never seen it. Had like full page color pictures and stuff throughout the book.
Every tour date they ever did, every in store they ever did, everything's documented in there. The Milwaukee riot or arrest. Anyway, in Atlanta on the Beyond the Valley tour, they did an in store in 80, whatever, 82, 80, no, 81. But I couldn't go. But there's a record store that I used to frequent, I still frequent. But the manager, when the store closed doors, it's called Record Bar. That's where they did the in store. When the store closed, the manager of the store took all of her personal stuff and dumped it at a local record store. One of the things she had was a poster that the I can tell you the year. It's yeah, maybe I can't. But anyway, it's a poster for that year, and she had Tony Petrie, Wendy O. Williams, Richie Stotts, and Jean Bevore sign it at the in store. So I ended up getting that from that store, and then Stotts sends me a pic. West Beach gave me a pic at the one of the shows I seen the Plasmatics, and so I had this thing framed. Um,
Oh wow,
yeah,
that's sick.
I know
Fucking
you can't
awesome.
really, but I put a plaque with the date of the in store it was signed and
Oh man,
everything. But
incredible.
yeah, and so I wish I could have seen that in store, but I did not. But yeah, I mean, we always want something we don't have. I've seen her a
That,
few times, so I'm lucky I did that. But
that's
Yeah,
yeah.
it's fucking awesome.
West Beach has left comments on some of my videos in the past.
Mm,
Oh,
And yeah, I remember, I don't know if he saw it, but I replied to one of them going, "Hey, would you be on my channel? I'm a big fan." I don't think I ever heard it back from him, but I know he left more than one comment. So he's checked out a couple of my things, which is
You know,
awesome.
I mean, Stotts is out doing little appearances and little horror cons. I mean, he'd seem like he'd be a natural to do one of these shows. But
Oh yeah.
you know,
I met him at a Chiller Theater years ago. Here's my picture with him, and he was fucking awesome. Like I go to
oh
these things
man,
all the
that's
time.
awesome.
I go to
Wow,
these things all the time, and they would like you'd meet a guy and he like forget like Ace Frehley and Alice Cooper at these things. It's like $75 for anything he signs and stuff. So when I met him, I didn't know how he was going to be. So I bring all my plasmatic stuff and I just kept them in a bag. And I figured I'd get my like main one, like maybe Coupe de Top signed or something like that. But I was like, so how much? He's like, oh, like $10. And he
wow,
was like, I was like, oh, I had like a bunch of albums. And he goes, oh, I'll sign them all for $10. I was like,
wow,
holy shit! And then
Nice.
he gave me
Where it should be.
I bought like actually I bought this for $10. It was just an 8x10. And with this, he signed everything that I bring. So here's what I bring, you know, Coupe d'etat, and I got my Butcher Babies 12-inch, but he signed it on the back in the
ah,
explosion. You know, it was a better spot to sign it, I guess he thought. And it was weird because I at the time I bring my maggots, I just grabbed them all and I didn't realize it. He was like, I didn't play on this.
ah,
And he's like, do you want me to sign it? I'm like, yeah, well, if you're signing them all, but I kind of should have maybe not had him sign that because
He should have wrote what
should
like
have get people
Leonard
sign stuff
Hayes
that they
wrote on
really
my
play.
Y&T record, unable to attend. That's
Yeah,
the greatest
but
thing ever.
he signed my Metal Priestess album, and he signed. I seen on your New Hope for the Wretched, he signed your front of your album. For me, he signed the back again for some reason. He picked the back, and Beyond the Valley of 1984, he signed. And since I'm going through crap, I got my Coupe d'etat on cassette. I got Maggots on cassette with the warning on there, and then Beyond the Valley I have on cassette, and I already showed the rap album on cassette.
wow.
And the only other thing I got is like I got the sticker pack I showed the last time. I haven't stuck them anywhere yet, and I'm a sticker junkie. I usually stick shit everywhere, but it's like 3 pages of Wendy O. Williams stickers. Ralph says I shouldn't stick them on nothing, but I'm gonna stick them someplace sooner or later. He said he would just keep them, but I'm gonna send Ralph stickers or a couple of them because he sent me a nice package recently of CDs and stuff. But
Oh yeah,
yeah, and I
hey,
got
he's talking about me, by the way.
Hey
yeah.
guys, remember that? He just made me think about that cassette that I couldn't think of the name of that I had that was like a comp. It's called Mistress of Taboo. Do you guys remember that?
Uh, I
It was a
I
little
know the
like a
song, but
it was a compilation cassette, and I just looked it up. It was called Mistress of Taboo. Came
Mm.
out in 1987. It was just a Capitol Records put it out, and it was just a compilation of songs.
I
On a
love
cassette?
that. That's one of my favorite songs, Mr. Taboo, too. One of my favorites.
my wife wanted me to show this. It's like her little change purse. It's a Wendy O. Williams change purse, plasmatics. Oh, and I have this fucking really cool thing. It's a model kit that you got to put together and paint. But it's like it's Wendy O. It comes with 2 heads. One of them's with the mohawk, and one's with the like the rhino horn. But I've never put it together. I've had this for a long time, and I just kept it in the
Wow, that's
box.
cool.
That is
That's
cool.
I
really
showed
cool.
it,
That is.
and of course, I showed this. I got the Wendy bobblehead, but
Yeah, the
that's pretty
bobblehead.
much it. I
Yeah,
gotta take a piss. I'll be
I'd
back.
love to have a Wendy bobblehead. I also want a Lee Ving bobby head, but all I got's Bobby Liebling right now.
Yeah, that the Bobby Living bobblehead is
I
hilarious.
got it.
Liebling.
Yeah, that's it.
That's
Well, awesome,
crazy.
guys. I mean, are we done? Is there anything else you guys want to say?
I do want to see what that was Richard was going to show us there but when we went online tonight. What was it?
Oh yeah. Okay, so I told
This is
Dio
off the subject, but I wanted to see
off
what it was.
subject, but I told Dio back when I was out with Sabbath at I'd mentioned to Mike Tony's Tech, rest in peace, that he had mentioned to me he was going to back to England to work some shows with the Move, and I said, "Is Bev Bevan doing that?" And he said, "Yeah," and he's a friend of mine. I said, "Dude, let me send two things." I said, "I got a Born Again tour, the tour lineup, a photo, and it's signed by everyone but Bev." I said, "Will you take it and get it signed by Bev?" "Oh yeah, Bev's cool as shit. He's a friend of mine." And so I also needed Tony and Geezer on this. It's proof artwork for the Black and Blue movie. You can't really see the like computer marks, but it was a proof thing up here that and for the movie poster. And I sent it, and Bev Bevan signed it. And I don't know. Anyway, I got Ronnie and Geezer and Tony, and but accidentally Bev signed it. But anyway, so I just sort of put it in a thing and forgot about it. But yeah, I've been telling Dio about it for like 20 years, and I sort of lost track of it. That's what I was going to show.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. Now I should get Buck and um, Eric on it when I go see them again. Hopefully, I'll get another chance. So
Yeah, hopefully, man. These guys are still touring. You just saw them. Richard just saw Blue Oyster Cult a couple weeks ago, actually.
yeah, I was in Indianapolis, and they played a little theater in Nashville, Indiana, like 40 miles south of Indianapolis, and it was great. And I look at the posters; they got Queensryche, Accept, and all kind of shit going in that little place. And the Blue Oyster Cult was great, man. It was a
They
great scene.
played here. I didn't tell you, man. They played here last week. They played in Greensboro, North Carolina, with Kansas. It was a co-headlining thing, Kansas
Yeah,
and I mean it was like a weekday, and I would have never been able to make it, but that would have been cool to see. But
yeah, they did Greensboro, Columbia, and some maybe Greenville. I can't remember, but yeah, they did a couple of three shows in the Carolinas.
Hey Ralph, I forgot to tell you last week when we were doing our Ace tribute show to Ace. Funny story, a friend of mine said you didn't mention this, but so a couple of years ago, I guess it's been about 5, 6 years ago, maybe now. See, what is it? It's just almost 2026. So it's probably, yeah, 7 or 8 years ago. Time has just flown. But so a friend of mine, some friends of mine went to New York City to see Iron Maiden. And while they were there, a mutual friend of theirs who was friends with Don Jameson got them into a TV pilot episode that Eddie Trunk was filming for VH1 or something, or I don't know. He was filming he was going to have a new TV show, and they filmed it at some club. I think it was BB King's maybe. And so she got them passes so they could go to this taping, and Ace Frehley was going to be there, and that was going to be Eddie's first guest. This show never got picked up. It's never aired. But he said that while they were standing in line to get in, they send out these little questionnaire cards, and you wanted you to ask Ace a question. So he calls me, my friend Greg. He calls me and he says, "Hey man, I got this questionnaire card, and they're asking me to ask Ace a question. What's something cool I could ask him?" And I said, "Ask him if he ever wanted to punch Tommy Thayer." He goes, "Man, I can't ask him that." But he put it down anyway, and sure enough, they called his name. They saw, I guess they looked through the questions and they saw that and go, "We got to pull this one." So he got to go up and ask Ace, "Have you ever wanted to punch Tommy Thayer?" And they said the whole audience just erupted in laughter. And Ace was laughing, and he's like, he says, "Nah," he says, "Tommy's all right, man. He's a good guitar player. He's not a great guitar player, but he's a good guitar player." And that's all he said about it. But it's like, I was like, "Yeah, you ask that, they'll pull that question because that'd be funny."
That's fun.
That's bizarre watching him on that Kiss cruise, Ace right next to Tommy playing on the acoustic set on that Kiss cruise.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was so. I mean, I guess after a while, it's just like money under the bridge.
yeah.
So
Wasn't
Money
he
under
like
the
his
bridge.
guitar? Wasn't it like he was a tech for Kiss, and he was involved with Kiss for years,
He
like
was road manager.
during the whole like reunion and all that stuff. He was right there,
Yeah,
so he knew him and stuff.
yeah, road
Have
manager.
you been paying attention to Peanut Gallery, what they want us to do next Kiss Wednesday? That is, if you
No,
all can.
nobody said anything at all about that. Everybody's been talking about the show, we can go back through it, but we'll figure something out about it.
Yeah, join us
You can
next.
do
I don't know if
Subverse.
Count and I have got Rock Fantasy Files next Wednesday or not. We'll have to find out what's
Yeah, I'm
going
not
on
sure.
with that. Yeah.
I got one more plasmatic thing to talk about. I got this vintage shirt, and I know this is like a lot of people, like Ralph has a reprint of this shirt, and the reprint is the exact copy because so I got this shirt back in the '90s from a guy for $5. He gave me a whole bunch of really unbelievable shirts. He went and seen them back then from 1984. This thing looks like it's brand new still, but my
Hold up, you
wife
froze
was
up.
like
You
wearing.
froze up right this second.
Yeah,
We can't
yeah,
see
we
the
can't,
shirt.
we can't see.
It'll probably unfreeze in a minute. There you go.
There it is.
All right,
Oh,
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I had that
so
one
this is
once myself.
yeah. A lot of people have this now because it got reprinted a couple of years back. But I remember my wife would wear this one every now and again. It's just like this classic shirt, but she started trying to wear it like all the time, like a regular shirt. And I'm like, yo, this thing is like 40 years old. I'm like, I got to put this in the retirement bin with the rest of the old shirts, you know. And then she found a reprint, and I see Ralph had it, but it's like the reprint, you can't tell the difference except for maybe the tag on it, you know. But this shirt is like one of my best like plasmatic things to have. You know, it's so cool to have, even though I could never fit into it since I've owned it. But
That's the first shirt I bought of Plasmatic. That's the first one. I got like 4 of them, 4 shirts of the Plasmatic.
Yeah, the one I got, the one I had was
vintage.
printed.
I got a vintage poster of this shirt. I got a vintage poster of this shirt. It's in beat up shape. I pulled it out when we did the Rock Fantasy one. I had it hanging behind me, and Richie Stotts gave me a free poster too of them like hanging in front of CBGB's Plasmatics, and he signed that for me, and then a couple other posters I got too, but I didn't pull them out for this episode.
Yeah, the one I had like that was a reprint, and they even printed it on like a dark gray shirt to make it look like it's faded, and it had like worn spots
it's
in the
crazy
collar.
how
They try to make
looks.
them look vintage.
Well,
that kind of pissed me off
it
because I want to
looked.
wear them out myself.
Yeah.
My wife's reprint, it like when you hold them together, you can't tell the difference. They look exact. Like sometimes you tell it's like a different print or something, but like, you cannot tell the difference. But I just know that I got this in the '90s from this guy. He gave me a whole box of shirts for $5. Back then, no one thought old shirts were going to be worth anything. And my friend, I've told the story before, but my friend called me up from a bar and he's like, yo, there's this guy. He's all drunk. He's talking to me because I'm wearing the fucking old metal shirt or whatever. And he's like, yo, I got all these old metal shirts. He's like, you want them for $5 a piece? He's like, I don't want them. But he's like, let me call my friend. He called me from the bar. I said, what has he got? He goes, oh, he's got like the 10-year anniversary Motorhead shirt. He's got Black Sabbath shirts and all this stuff. I said, all right, tell him I take them all. And I didn't have to hear the rest of them because he said $5 a piece. And and he had like Metal Heart tour shirt from 1985, like all these original vintage shirts. It was the best deal I ever got. I got like, I don't know how many, I got like 15 shirts from them, but they were just like, when I pull them out now in episodes and stuff, it's like, it looks like I went to all these old shows, but I didn't go to them, but I have the old shirts for
Cool, you
$5
got
a
'em.
piece. And
Yeah.
now who knows what they're worth now, you know, they're worth a ton.
None of
Yeah.
my shirts survived the '80s. None of them. I had vicious death metal washing machines.
Oh
And
wow.
they would eat up my shirts, man. I remember some of them because back in the day, I would buy bootleg shirts in the parking lot for like $5.
Oh
Look,
yeah.
they
Yeah.
look like
They would
bootleg.
fall apart. They would fall apart back then if you
Dude.
washed them a few times though.
They would,
Now
a
the
few
bootlegs
times.
last just like a regular shirt. A regular shirt now, the bootlegs, like you can wash them as much as anything and it doesn't matter. But something back then when you bought a bootleg, you got like 4 washes out of it.
Oh,
And the
man,
fucking
I'll
shit
tell
would
you
go.
They were made out of rayon was the material, and it would just tear. It was like tear. It was almost like terry cloth, like you wipe cars down with or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it was like
remember.
it was like painted on.
I remember buying a Women and Children First that tour, Van Halen. It was a real shitty cartoon of the back of the album cover where Eddie's pointing, and I bought it for like $5. I'm not lying to you. One freaking wash. It was just one wash. it was already coming apart. I was like, what the fuck? You know?
I'm
But
gonna tell a story next week when we do the death episode. I got a spiritual healing
oh,
shirt at a show.
I gotta call Rick. I gotta cancel it for the
Oh,
next
that's
time
right.
because
Okay.
yeah.
Well, it's good that I bring that up. But I got this spiritual healing shirt at a show. After the first wash, it started fucking disappearing, and I was like, "Oh my god, I can never wash this shirt again." After one wash, it was like I don't know if they had to make them real quick just for that show or whatever, and they used
It's
some cheap company.
I used to work in screen printing, and if you don't cure the shirt properly, they have to run them through ovens to dry them. It, it's funny because a friend of mine, we've worked in screen printing for years, and it's like we joke around about when we go to a concert and they're like, "Hey, can we see the shirt?" And we're like pulling the print to see if it breaks. That means it's not cured properly, and that means I had another guy that had a screen printing place here in town. So whatever shirts I would buy, I'd take them to him, get him to run them through his oven just to make sure they were cured good. If you don't, it'll start coming off in the wash. Yeah.
Those bootleg shirts at the fairground, you'd like pop a balloon, you'd win like a Defender to the Face shirt.
Yeah.
You get like three washes out of it. And if any of that shit survived today, because maybe you didn't wash them and you just put them away, like they're worth something now because
Yeah,
they
man.
didn't survive. I got that one awesome like Speak of the Devil shirt and got Diary of the Madman on the back. It had shit on the sleeves, it's 3/4 sleeve, and like those. I remember having the original back in the day. Didn't get through the summer with it. I bought it in the summer. By the end of the summer, it was gone. And I have like a really good one from this guy who sold me this shirt. Also had that Speak of the Devil shirt in there, So luckily he didn't fucking watch it.
Ralph, do you have that? It's a book that came out a few years ago, probably about 10 years ago, about concert t-shirts. Do you have that?
No, I remember that though coming out, and I never got it.
If I ever see another one, I'll grab it for you, man. I see them in
There's
like
a
used
punk rock.
stores.
There's a punk rock shirt too. I know there's a book of punk rock shirts too. It's like nothing but punk shirts,
Yeah.
and it's like that too. They got all the bootlegs and stuff.
Yeah, the book I've got's got the Ozzy shirt that was a bootleg shirt. It has the guys in the white hoods with the burning crosses on it, and it's like,
Oh
hell,
yeah,
who the hell approved that?
yeah. Yeah, some
black
carny
guy.
at the fairgrounds was like some
Yeah,
carny at the fair was like, "Yo, you got
yeah,
to make this a shirt."
yeah.
Most of the T-shirts when I was on tour, most of the boots would always come from Philly. They'd always come from Philadelphia every single time, and they'd fan out and sell in New York and DC and Baltimore. And I used to help confiscate because like with ACDC, the guy that they hired to confiscate and enforce was an ex New York cop, and so I would help him confiscate these boots. And usually you just walk up to a group out in the parking lot or out near the venue, and they would have stuff under their arms, or they'd have a garbage bag, or they'd, even then people would have a couple under their arms, and you'd follow them back to their car or a van, and they would have thousands in the back. And so I was in Philly at the Spectrum, and we were confiscating, and all you usually had to do was show them your laminate. Hey, I'm with the band. I need to get those shirts, and you need to leave. And they would comply. They would give you the stuff, give you the garbage bag, or if you followed them to the car, they'd throw them on the ground and leave. And I was in Philly confiscating on the ACDC Stiff Upper Lip tour, and followed a guy back to the trunk of his car, and he's like, "Yeah, whatever, man, okay." And then he opened the trunk, and he reached down. I'm thinking he's going to hand me an armful of shirts, and I'm going to take them back to production. He I blinked and I turned around and he had a gun right to my forehead. He said,
What?
"I'm not giving you shit. Get the fuck out of here." And that was the last time I ever confiscated bootlegs.
I bet.
Damn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Philadelphia.
I remember you telling a story about like Sabbath ones or something, and you ended up having like a shitload, and you gave them all out or
Yeah, I
something
didn't
like that.
confiscate them, but yeah, those were that Heaven and Hell and that Heaven and Hell tour with the Metal Masters and these bootleggers. Like you said, they started heat transfers and and they ended up the artwork. had like Judas Priest and Heaven and Hell had the band logos and band photos on the back. And I mean, the bootlegs look better than the
Yeah.
shit they were selling at the show. And I ended
Yeah,
up
I
with
think I showed the shirt, and
Yeah.
you said that's what
Yeah.
sparked the story. Is I showed the bootleg parking lot shirt of like the Masters with Testament and Motorhead, and
Yeah, yeah.
and then you were like, oh yeah, I had hundreds of them, and you said you were giving them out or whatever.
Yeah, I gave them to a truck wash in Northern California,
That's right.
north of
That's
LA,
right.
and all the Mexican dudes love metal
Yeah,
out there.
yeah.
And I gave
remember
them a
that.
whole bag. I get home and there's one on eBay for $380. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, you regretted giving it to all the Mexicans. I remember that.
But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
that's the way touring was for me. Is like you would get a bunch of shit together and just keep making piles of shit and bags of shit, and then like when near the tour, you're just like, "Fuck, I don't want this shit. Just give it home, get it away."
I got to get rid of this.
Yeah, I hauled a
Yeah.
gold record around for Tony Dio once. I was telling Mike about that today. I forgot what band it was.
Talk about the Crowd Love.
Love, yeah.
Yeah.
I got that in LA and hauled that around for like 6 months for Dio. So
Actually, it wasn't a gold record. It was just it was a plaque that was given to some radio DJ or something.
Oh, okay.
But,
yeah, it's like the gold record.
That album never made it to gold, unfortunately.
Yeah,
that we know of. Yeah.
No.
Well,
it's a good record though.
Yeah.
Right on, everybody. Well, I want to thank you all for watching, and I want to thank everybody out there that in the peanut gallery. I want to thank you, Richard, for joining us. Almost humanoids like Tony and Count Ralphus. Next week, we will not be live on Thursday. We'll be live on Kiss Wednesday, and we'll figure something out. It'll have to do with Kiss. So, till next week, everybody, have a really good week. Rest in peace, Ace Frehley. And